Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out with Brian O'Shaughnessy, trainer of Umar Sadiq, who's here today, Lawrence Okolie, among others. Just first of all, let's talk about Umar. He's got his big fight next week, Zach Chelli, 2 unbeaten fighters going at it. Last time I spoke to you, you were very keen to get that fight signed and sealed. What is it that makes this such a good fight?
Well, Zach Chelli is a very rated fighter. He's got a lot of tools in his arsenal, and so has Umar. And it's 2 conflicting different styles. We've got the come forward fighter against a technician. So it should make a good spectacle for everyone watching.
Saw Umar on Twitter poking a bit of fun of Zach Chelli's videos, hitting the bag about 50 times in 10 seconds or whatever it was. What do you make of all that sort of stuff? Not just the war of words, but like the videos and the pad work that doesn't necessarily conform to what you'll see in the ring itself.
Well, it's good for boxing, I think, especially the way Umar does it. It's like he's not taking it, it's not nothing personal. It's not insulting like some of the things you see recently, especially. So it's good for boxing. Umar's showing people how it can be done, you know, in a good and social media way.
You typified it as the come forward boxer against the technician, but there are other layers to it as well, because Umar can bang a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going on public perception, because that's what people are going to expect, but we can change it up. But can Zach Chelli change it up? That's the thing.
Is it refreshing to see 2 fighters so early in their careers, both unbeaten, putting those zeros at risk against each other?
Absolutely, and it's something that I like to do with my fighters personally. I've got full confidence in them, and so if they're with a fighter that's only had 1 fight more than them, why not put them in? If they're both prospects, then may the best man win, and I've got every confidence in my man winning.
Umar's a bit older, he's also fought at a high level of competition as an amateur. Do you think that's going to play a bearing on this fight?
It will do, but that's amateur. This is professional. So it's what we do in the gym now. Obviously, the experience he's got and the experience I've got from the amateur days plays a big part in it. But we're not going to kid ourselves. This is professional boxing, so it is slightly different, but the experience does help.
Changing tack, let's talk about Lawrence Okolie. We all know what all the critics out there thought of his performance against Matty Askin. We know what Lawrence himself thought because he's been quite open and vocal about it on Twitter and so on. What did you make of the performance overall?
Well, like I said to Lawrence in the change room, it's better to win ugly. If he feels bad about the win, how does Matty Askin? He was a British champion, walked in there. He didn't by far do enough. Lawrence was getting a lot of the criticism, but I think some of the criticisms could be pointed at Matty Askin. You know, he didn't really defend his belt as well as he knows he should have defended his belt. But saying that, we've got the title now, so if we've got to defend it against him or if we're going to go forward, we'll defend it in a good, proper fashion.
I mean, Lawrence has said himself that he'd like to be in more entertaining fights as well as just getting the wins. But as a trainer, does that bother you at all, or are you just interested in getting the victory?
No, I think the performance is key. The performance wasn't key that night, but we got the job done. It's all learning for Lawrence, so that was a big lesson for Lawrence, and a big lesson for myself really. So I've got to get inside Lawrence's brain from the changing rooms until back into the changing rooms. And it's something that we didn't do on that night. I wasn't in his head 100% of the way. So once we're in, I'm easy 100% of the way, I think you'll see a different Lawrence.
Do you feel it's a bit unfair in a sense that a lot of the things that people say are ugly about him, the long arms, the holding, the physical strength, are some of the things that make him so successful?
Exactly, and you're only good as your last performance. So if Lawrence's next performance, just like the performance before, everyone's rattled and raving about him. You know, it's just like the kid that boxed over the weekend, Ahara Davis. His fight before, everyone was ranting and raving about him. He has a stinker. Everyone's like, it's the worst fight I've ever seen. So it's something we've got to take, you know, on the chin and just learn from it. You know, it's about the performance as well as about the result.
When's he back in camp, if he's not already, and what do you expect him to do going forward?
Well, we've got a meeting. He's got a meeting today, so we'll know who our next opponent is and the date. And we'll just plan it from now. You know, it's not like he's got a big hurdle to overcome. We know what we've got to do, and we will do it.
Brilliant. Well, we thank you for your time, and obviously, first and foremost, best of luck for next week in Brentwood.